Rimsky took out his watch, saw that it read 5 minutes past 2, and flew into a complete rage. Really? Likodayev had called at around 11, said he'd come in half an hour, and not only had not come, but had disappeared from his apartment. He's holding up my business. Rimsky was roaring now, jabbing his finger at a pile of unsigned papers. Might he have fallen under a tramcar like Berlioz? Varenyuka said as he held his ear to the receiver, from which came low, prolonged and utterly hopeless signals. Wouldn't be a bad thing, Rimsky said barely audibly through his teeth. At that same moment a woman in a uniform jacket, visored cap, black skirt and sneakers came into the office. From a small pouch at her belt the woman took a small white square and a notebook and asked, "Who here is Variety? A super lightning telegram. Sign here." Varenyuka scribbled some flourish in the woman's notebook, and as soon as the door slammed behind her, he opened the square. After reading the telegram, he blinked and handed the square to Rimsky. The telegram contained the following: Yalta to Moscow Variety. Today 11:30 brown-haired man came criminal investigation nightshirt trousers shoeless mental case gave name Likodayev director Variety Wire Yalta criminal investigation where director Likodayev. "Hello and how do you do?" Rimsky exclaimed, and added, "Another surprise." "A false Dmitri," said Varenyuka, and he spoke into the receiver. "Telegraph office?" "Variety account. Take a super lightning telegram. Are you listening? Yalta criminal investigation. Director Likodayev Moscow fine director Rimsky." Irrespective of the news about the Yalta imposter, Varenyuka again began searching all over for Styopa by telephone, and naturally did not find him anywhere. Just as Varenyuka, receiver in hand, was pondering where else he might call, the same woman who had brought the first telegram came in and handed Varenyuka a new envelope. Opening it hurriedly, Varenyuka read the message and whistled. "What now?" Rimsky asked, twitching nervously. Varenyuka silently handed him the telegram, and the fine director saw there the words, "Beg believe throne Yalta Woland hypnosis wire criminal investigation confirm identity Likodayev." Rimsky and Varenyuka, their heads touching, reread the telegram, and after rereading it, silently stared at each other. Citizens. The woman got angry. Sign, and then be silent as much as you like. I deliver lightnings. Varanyuka, without taking his eyes off the telegram, made a crooked scrawl in the notebook, and the woman vanished. Didn't you talk with him on the phone at a little past 11? The administrator began in total bewilderment. No, it's ridiculous. Rimsky cried shrilly. Talk or not, he can't be in Yalta now. It's ridiculous. He's drunk, said Varanyuka. Who's drunk? Asked Rimsky, and again the two stared at each other. That some impostor or madman had sent telegrams from Yalta, there was no doubt. But the strange thing was this: how did the Yalta mystifier know Woland, who had come to Moscow just the day before? How did he know about the connection between Likodayev and Woland? Hypnosis. Varanyuka kept repeating the word from the telegram. How does he know about Woland? He blinked his eyes and suddenly cried resolutely, ah, no. Nonsense. Nonsense, nonsense. Where's he staying, this Woland, devil take him? Asked Rimsky. Varanyuka immediately got connected with the Foreign Tourist Bureau and, to Rimsky's utter astonishment, announced that Woland was staying in Likodayev's apartment. Dialing the number of the Likodayev apartment. After that, Varanyuka listened for a long time to the low buzzing in the receiver. Amidst the buzzing, from somewhere far away, came a heavy, gloomy voice singing, "Rocks, my refuge," and Varanyuka decided that the telephone lines had crossed with a voice from a radio show. The apartment doesn't answer, Varanyuka said, putting down the receiver, or maybe I should call. He did not finish. The same woman appeared in the door, and both men, Rimsky and Varanyuka, rose to meet her, while she took from her pouch not a white sheet this time, but some sort of dark one. This is beginning to get interesting, Varanyuka said through his teeth, his eyes following the hurriedly departing woman. Rimsky was the first to take hold of the sheet. On a dark background of photographic paper, some black handwritten lines were barely discernible. Proof my handwriting, my signature, wire urgently, confirmation, place secret, watch Woland Likodayev. In his 20 years of work in the theater, Varanyuka had seen all kinds of sights, but here he felt his mind becoming obscured as with a veil, and he could find nothing to say but the at once mundane and utterly absurd phrase. This cannot be. Rimsky acted otherwise. He stood up, opened the door, barked out to the messenger girl sitting on a stool. Let no one in except postman, and locked the door with a key. Then he took a pile of papers out of the desk and began carefully to compare the bold, back-slanting letters of the photogram with the letters in Stiopa's resolutions and signatures, furnished with a corkscrew flourish. Varanyuka, leaning his weight on the table, breathed hotly on Rimsky's cheek. It's his handwriting, the fine director finally said firmly, and Varanyuka repeated like an echo. His. Peering into Rimsky's face, the administrator marveled at the change that had come over this face. Thin to begin with, the fine director seemed to have grown still thinner and even older. His eyes in their horn rims had lost their customary prickliness, and there appeared in them not only alarm, but even sorrow. Varanyuka did everything that a man in a moment of great astonishment ought to do. He raced up and down the office, he raised his arms twice like one crucified, he drank a whole glass of yellowish water from the carafe and exclaimed, "I don't understand.